What's up, guys? This is KILLcRey, hip hop artist and futurist, and this is my show where I discuss music, culture, and big ideas with very little small talk. This is Think Tank. What's up, guys? This week I am sitting down with my good friend Parker Edison. We had a really cool conversation about creativity, getting out of your own way, some of the fears you have when it comes to creating music and art. He's a rapper, a podcast host. He's one of the most creative people I know, and he's consistently trying to think outside of the box and see things from a different perspective. So I thought it'd be a cool conversation to share with you guys and get a little insight into like the creative process of a professional artist like Parker Edison. Make sure you check out his podcast, The Parker Edison Project, anywhere podcasts are found. Let him know we sent you. Here's that conversation. Me and Parker just chopping it up about art, man. Check it out. I spend most of my life trying to get creative. I spend most of my life trying to refine my creativity. I spend most of my life trying to not let creativity kill me or the lack thereof. So I thought I'd bring in a friend today, my homie. We've created a lot of art together, so I thought it'd be a cool way to get some insight, maybe into my own creativity, into his creativity. He's a guy who thinks really, really out of the box, and his name is Parker Edison. Being different is something that you really like doing.
Absolutely, man. Originality goes so far. It's always been a super big thing to me, and it's even more so now because, and this is no slight, this generation is about productivity. And so it's so important now that some artists, are finding out what we need and trying to feed that need, channeling in that originality to fill in the blanks.
Do you find it like it's more like far and few between from things that you find original, like things that you're actually into? Does that happen less now, do you feel?
Yes, it does happen less. It does. But part of that is that we have to redo stuff so that the next generation gets it. Like you have to say the same cliche from the last generation, this generation, otherwise it doesn't get passed on. So we're in that phase where things are getting passed on, which is beautiful and healthy, but it gets a little boring if you've already seen it before. Like
if an artist is doing something and say somebody comes up to them and goes like, hey man, I've seen that before. How should they feel? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are they doing something bad?
No, well, there's different degrees of I've seen that before. Mm-hmm. And there's just a knockoff, which is awful, and then there is the homage, which kind of, takes what's already been done and adds on to it, but makes reference to what's already been done.
For like a young artist, if they're trying to find their voice, a lot of the times, right, people start off by mimicking things that they like. It seems like almost like a natural progression. Everybody kind of starts there, right? I remember coming up and everybody was like Tupac. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it feels safe, right? Like it just feels safe. Like, well, if somebody's done that already, it works, we might as well do it. How do you avoid that as an artist?
You have to use that as a springboard to jump into what you really are.
How do I sound like myself? It's such a weird concept, right? Like, how do you sound like you? What have you learned about that topic? Like, how do you sound like you? You have a very authentic style to yourself.
Nah, I ain't got no room in me casa. Nah, son, even if there's ins in the outcome. How come you waited till we bubbled till you bounced up? We was in there shooting in the gym, you was clowning. Now it's hot at the top of your billboard. Biters gonna bite, it's alright, we'll just filled more seats with that Run Rick movie than you did with your vid. Should've clicked up with me cause we did ours and cheersed our success.
I sat down numerous times just by myself, and I had on one stack, I had people's opinions, and I took that into consideration. Like, oh, this works. This part that I'm doing works. Now, the other thing is I'd be very quiet with myself and be like, what did I really, really want to do that I just felt embarrassed to do in public? So I'd be like, oh, I really like Prince. So let me just channel some of this Prince stuff and take a chance, because when you try to channel somebody else, if you're really being yourself, it'll change more into you.
What are some of your key points of self-discovery when it comes to your sound and your music?
One, doing a lot of work and knowing it's not going to see the light of day.
Ooh.
try different versions. So when you sit with a track, sit with it. If I'm doing music, sit with that track for a month, and then do another track where you do it right off the bat. And then you'll find usually the one that you sat with, you're influenced by other people. And then the one that you just did right off the bat was what you really wanted to do.
Right.
And then see what came very naturally to you.
Yeah.
That's a quick pattern to kind of self-discover.
Like you see this a lot in comedy, right? Like with young comedians, they might structure a joke that's very close to something that's already been done, not having done their due diligence on whether or not it's been made. Sometimes hurts them. And I feel like that's something that might be lacking in modern hip hop, like due diligence of research on what has come before. I would think if you're trying to create something original, you definitely at least want to examine the road that you're on to make sure that it isn't too beaten. It's not too, it's been used too many times. That's, at least for me, what I find interesting in an artist, right? Like when I can look at an artist and go, I've never seen that before. What is that? The artists that come to mind for me over the years have been like Outkast. I was like, okay, here's a whole new voice, right? There was a whole new language, right? Who else? Cypress Hill.
Whoa.
Cypress Hill is another one that truly inspired me because they were like, I literally never heard anything like that.
They don't get enough credit.
Right.
Be Real doesn't get enough credit for being one of the most original rappers out there with the most like distinct sound and content.
I agree. Nas, right? When Nas came out of Queensbridge and brought the Queensbridge sound, the world was like, what is it? We've never seen anything like this. Has there ever been a time when you were scared to put out a song or you had nervous feelings about putting out a piece of art?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's like self-confidence is a part that we haven't talked about, but being very confident in yourself, and not being afraid to get laughed at. Cause it really is that thing where first they laugh at you, then they listen to you, then they like you.
Yeah.
Some version of that. Yeah, man. So yeah, I've definitely had some moments where I've been, petrified of how.
Give me an example of something.
It's called Name Names.
Yeah.
And it was like me. I just had my heart broken by two women at the same time. And I put it out and I was like, this isn't a cool guy song.
Yeah.
This is a sad moment. And this might not be received. It might come off as some sad sack type thing. But it worked because other cats had their hearts broken. And what I was talking about, I leaned into it. And inevitably, the human experience is being shared by everybody. And what happens is people find something that's popular and they just highlight those parts of it. And the people who go and talk about these things that are rarely talked about are loved more because they're talking about something so rare but so relatable.
Wow. What if it did go totally bad and people were like, boo, this song's horrible? Like,
it could go that way. But if it's genuine, then you can lean back and be like, I really thought that though. Versus what really must hurt is when you jump out the gym on something that you truly don't believe and then everyone laughs at it and you didn't believe it either.
Wow.
So now you got nothing to go to sleep with. But I really felt that way. So I was like, oh, here we go. Just put it out, be honest. And yeah.
And to make everybody feel better who's been watching this and going like, man, I'm struggling with this though. What was your biggest bomb of all time?
We still laugh at this. We got on and Union Tribune had this afternoon show. It's here in San Diego. And it was like, yo, come do this afternoon show. So we was doing it. We was doing the interviews and it was me and him. And the host was like, well, do y'all feel confident freestyling? And Tim was like, meh. And I was like, yeah, I do. Hey, and the dude put on Dead Prez, Bigger Than Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, and I couldn't do it, so I flopped. But it ran live. It was running on live TV. And later that day, my mom caught up with me and she goes, so, you shouldn't do that if you're not going to be prepared.
Oh, your mom told you?
Yeah, man. She was watching.
Okay.
So that's the stinker, bro. Risk is reward.
Right.
And so I was like, let me risk it all. If I would have made it, it would have been bombed.
Yeah.
I didn't, so it bombed.
And now it's just a lesson.
That's all.
Dude, thank you so much, man, for sharing your time with us. Guys, follow Parker Edison at
theparkeredisonproject.com.
There it is. Everything Parker Edison right there. And subscribe to his podcast while you're there. Parker Edison Project is back right now. Season 2 has already begun. Parker, thank you so much, man.
My pleasure always.
And there you have it. Parker Edison, man. Make sure you check out his podcast, The Parker Edison Project, anywhere podcasts are found. And hopefully he'll be back to talk more about creativity and his own journey. Look, man, I'm on my own creative journey. I'm just trying to share some of the things I find along the way. Hopefully they help you, and we can grow together. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, and tell a friend. I'll see you guys next time.